to African Teapot Podcast. My name is Exie and I'm your host. Journey with me through Africa's vast variety of culture, heritage, and discuss issues most African families face, both home and abroad. Make sure you add this podcast to your frequent podcast rotations, and don't forget to share and follow this podcast. Hello listeners, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode on African Teapot. And I'm so excited today. I don't know if you can hear my voice, but I'm so excited today. One, it being Valentine's. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's, right? I'm really excited about it because today is one of those days where we are actually celebrating a day on the actual day. We are celebrating, like we're talking about Valentine's on Valentine's. Because if you look at the other episodes, it's like Christmas or New Year, we are celebrating 1 or 2 days off, right? But this one, we are actually airing today, Sunday, which is Valentine's. So happy Valentine's again to the African Teapot, family team. Like when you hear me speaking, you have people behind the scenes still. You have 1 or 2 individuals behind the scenes. So we are very, very grateful for the Valentine's reach out and shout out you guys gave to us. That was great. I had a lot of people reaching out. Maybe I didn't really expect a lot, but I'm really appreciative of everyone who took out that time to email. Sometimes with the world we live in, someone may not have that 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So I'm really grateful and thankful for those of you who reached out, those of you who contributed. Some of you had suggestions for future topics, which was really great. So the interaction was great this week. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now let us get into our topic. Our topic for today is Africans and saying, I love you. I know, considering that it is Valentine's, I thought this topic was appropriate. And I have a lot of giggles, even here, if you can hear. There are a lot of giggles in terms of Africans know exactly what I'm saying, and they're just like, oh my God, what is Anna going to say now about us saying I love you, right? But Exie is here to just give 1 or 2, insights to it, or to call us out on how we express ourselves in our culture. But before I get into that, let us do the tradition for the month, which is appreciating our Black culture. Since it is Black History Month here in the States, last week we did look at Nelson Mandela, and today we would be going to the Republic of Ghana to look at the legacy of Kofi Annan. So before I get into these 5 facts of Kofi Annan's legacy, let's just have a general sense of Ghana. So the Republic of Ghana is located in West Africa. It has its surrounding countries as Ivory Coast, Togo, Burkina Faso, and the Gulf of Guinea. Ghana has an estimated population of 30 million people, and it is one of the medieval empires in Africa. And it was a medieval empire up until the 15th century. Ghana is said to have 50 written and spoken languages, and English being the official language, and the most popular and most spoken language is Akan. I didn't know that. That was something new that I realized. So that was pretty interesting. Now let us look at some of these, just 5 facts about Kofi Annan and his legacy. And just so if you don't know him, and you've not heard of Ghana, you've not heard of Kofi Annan, I'm going to put some links on the show notes so you can go ahead and do further reading or further research if you are interested. Okay, let's look at some of the facts. So let's start with fact number 1. Kofi Annan was the 7th Secretary General of the United Nations from 1997 to 2006. 2. Kofi Annan and the United Nations won a Nobel Peace Prize together in 2001. 3. Kofi Annan founded the Kofi Annan Foundation in 2007, and it was geared at mobilizing political will to overcome threats and peace and development and human rights. 4, he was the chair of the African Progress Panel, which advocated for equitable and sustainable development in Africa. 5, and not the least or last, he was appointed by the African Union to co-chair a panel assigned to find a peaceful resolution to the widespread violence in Kenya during the 2007 presidential election. So I just thought that these were 5 interesting facts to know about Kofi Annan if you've not heard of him before, and to realize that he did not see politics as just, something in Africa where you stay in power forever. And he saw it as a tool for peace, a tool to combat poverty, a tool to use to develop our society, and also a tool to use to fight for the rights of every citizen of their nation, respective nations. You can see that this was his legacy. And one other last important thing that I want to say is he was not just the Secretary General of the United Nations. Before he became Secretary General, he had other posts that he held, or other offices that he held within the United Nations. So his relationship with the United Nations was way long before 1997. Okay, now that we've gotten this taken care of, okay, so now let us get into this topic of saying I love you within us Africans. I mean, when we are not conditioned to express ourselves out loud, I would say, using words. We would express it using things. We would show affection rather than tell you we are affectionate, rather than tell you we love you, which I think it's very important. But at the same time, it is also good as Africans that we learn to tell someone that we care, right? But it's funny because this comes right from our parents. As a kid growing up myself, I would say my parents were, exposed and educated. And I would say I'm coming from a okay, and a kind of like a progressive background. Like my parents are pretty progressive. My friends tell me that all the time. But I can count how many times I have seen them show affection to one another. It's crazy. I know when I'm speaking to people from different cultures, and I said, like, what? Especially Americans. Some other cultures do relate, but especially Americans go, what do you mean? Your dad never told you he loved you, your mom? I'm like, I can't remember my dad was like, I love you. No, he would just be like, Edna, take care. Make sure you don't collect anything from somebody to eat on your way back from school. Make sure you look left and right before you cross the road. Don't give you lunch money. Don't be like, Edna, come into the house. It's raining outside. Like those are the things that that your parents love you. Like they care. You understand? Or when you come back and they're like, why are you crying? You're like, somebody bullied you. Someone beat you at school. And it's like problems. That's how we know that our parents love us, And then when you see your mom and dad holding hands, you're like, oh, they love each other. My dad would sometimes, I know up to now, he would say things like baby, he would not say baby or babe. He would say in his own way, like baby. He would say things like no, like in the dialect, that's like honey. He would say it, but he would say it in the dialect instead of saying it in English, right? And we would laugh about it at home. Sometimes we've had glimpses of him like maybe joking or fooling around, and you see him like lift mom up, and we all would laugh and giggle, but it's kind of like more like fun. And to us, that's what we saw as affection, but when I got over here, it's like, you have to say it. And sometimes you have people saying it and they don't really do things in terms of actions tell you that they love you, but they're saying they love you. And sometimes that brings issues in relationships over here. When you say it, they say communication. I'm like, communicating is not just telling someone you love them. You also communicate by showing them things, by showing that affection through your actions as well. Now, love is not only romantic, because I've been talking about it from the parent perspective, like being romantic or whatever, or mother to child. I mean, even among siblings, you just understand that you guys love each other. There is not like, oh, I love you, but now I do with my siblings. We do share that with one another. But I was just saying this out there so you understand when you meet an African guy and you're like, oh, he doesn't buy me roses. We don't even have, what roses, what flowers are we even buying to give you? It's just, we did share postcards. They'll get perfumes and things. Don't get me wrong, we'll do that. But the way or the things here that I use, like teddy bears and things that I use to show affection, not necessarily is what we use in our own society. Even if we use, it's not an expectation. That's what I'm saying, for them to do that. We want practical things. There are a lot of struggles around. You want practical things for people to show you that they love and they care. So when you see an African telling you, I love you, that has taken a lot. That person has gone through reconditioning or that person was just born on a different continent. Like, seriously, they're African, but they were born on a different continent. Like, that's just what it is. Or they have gone through some conditioning. Like, really, that's no joke. To be able to say that freely, to be able to say that and not being embarrassed, to be able to say that and not feel like they're breaking the norms. That has to come through some sort of learning at their adulthood. So this Valentine's, I just want to say, let's take it easy. Let's slow down. Let's take it easy in terms of, if you receive something from someone, appreciate it and give someone something. And it mustn't be a lover, like it can be anybody, because especially with the COVID out here this year, it is crazy. And some people just need to hear you say you appreciate them. And some people just need to hear you say you love them and you care. So I'm thinking that this Valentine is a very, very special one. And we should not take the people that we still love who are around for granted, because we lost a lot of people last year. And it's just that something where we need to be more aware in showing people the good and not just always talking about the bad stuff, right? So hopefully you've understood why or how we Africans say I love you is through actions. And you've understood why we do it that way. It's just how it is. It's just the conservativeness of our culture. And I'm just saying that we are learning, guys, okay? So give us a break. And Africans, please pick up the pace. Try to tell someone, try to make someone's day. If someone makes you feel special, tell them they make you feel special. And and just have fun this Valentine. Just be merry, just be glad. Reach out to me. Let me know who your Valentine was. Let me know how it went, what you received. If you received good messages, it must not be material things. Someone can write you an email. Like we did here in African Teapot, we received so many emails of appreciation. And it just made this episode really, really very special. So if you've had someone, that person who did not reach out to you, maybe Christmas or New Year's, reach out to you, someone you've always had a disagreement with, they suddenly become friendly, they reached out to you, that is something good for this Valentine, okay? So let me go ahead and get into the fun part, which is reading some of our Valentine's inspirational messages and stories.
Thank you, African Teapot. My name is Berinyoy Morvin from Cameroon. A special message to you, honey. Jai Clement Buji alias Jumex. Hey, the love of my life, baby. Happy Valentine's Day. I thank God every day for you. And this day, of course, I just want to let the world know that I found my soulmate, someone that understands me and take me the way I am. Baby, love is beautiful, and you have shown me that. I will forever cherish that, honey. I love you so much. And surprise, this special for you. Happy Valentine's Day, baby.
Okay, so I do have 4 emails here that I'm going to read. I received more than 4, but I'm just going to pick this 4, or I picked this 4 because it was a range of Valentines, and I thought this is not all about romantic, right? But let me go ahead and share some things that people had, and hopefully this inspires you. Hopefully this makes your day. Hopefully you understand exactly what I was saying by this Valentine's. We just need to celebrate being alive and celebrate being here. Okay, so our very first email and letter is from Bimbo, and Bimbo is from Nigeria, but she resides in Germany. So Bimbo's Valentine says, Happy Valentine to my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Enyocha in Nigeria. Hopefully I'm saying that right. After listening to your podcast, Exie, I realized how blessed I had it growing with the teachings of my parents. I cannot trade this for anything, and this has helped shape me as the woman I am today. So I could not wait to tell them and have them listen to your podcast. And now you have new fans from my parents. They listen to you all the time, and they give their input and give their little corrections that they have, which from now henceforth I will email them to you. Thank you so much for giving me this platform to say Happy Valentine's, Mama, and Happy Valentine's, Papa. I thought that was great. That is good that her Valentine's message went out to her parents, and hopefully they hear it, which I know she says they listen. So thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Enyocha. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Bimbo, for listening and spreading the word about African Teapot. I'm so happy and so excited, and great. It's great that I get to have this platform where you can share this with your parents. And also thank you that somehow what I said inspired you to be more appreciative of your parents, and hopefully that only grows from now, right? Okay, so let us go to our second letter, or second email. Our second email is from Jinxie, and he resides in Frisco, Texas, but he's originally from Cameroon. And Jinxie says, Hello, African Teapot. I just want your panel members to know that you are doing a great job in creating awareness on what Africa and its culture is all about, and how you discuss your opinions with precision, and it is really amazing. And for you, Exie, your soft-spoken style of explaining and handling complex African issues in simple ways is really impressive. That's what a genius and a wonderful person can do. Keep on with the good work, and more grace to your elbow. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much, darling. I love the fact that when we Africans say something, you would know it's African because we put a little bit of our stamp on it, like he says, more grace to your elbow. I like that fact, and I like the fact that you get to appreciate how I approach issues, right? Because we try to make it very simple so that even our non-African listeners can relate or learn something from our culture or about our culture. So thank you so much for thinking about us this Valentine's. Okay, and now we are moving on to our third email or letter. And I thought this one was really important to share. She had a lot to say, but I'm just going to read one. She had more than one, not about Valentine's, but she had other topics, and I think I would share that in upcoming topics. I would, let you guys know, but I think she has a very inspiring story. And this is from Melanie, and Melanie lives in Toronto, Canada, and Melanie is originally from Togo. So she says, this Valentine, I want to appreciate my best friend, Joycelyn. She has supported me through one of the most difficult breakups of my life. I was in a relationship for 5 years with a wonderful baby girl to show for it. Due to our different backgrounds and tribes, his family did not support our union, and he gave in, so our relationship came to a final halt during the holidays. It has been very difficult to co-parent, fight depressing thoughts, be supportive of his new relationship soon after our breakup, and raise our kid at the same time. My best friend has been there for me in ways I cannot explain. She flew out to stay with me since she works from home. She has held my hand through prayers and through taking shots. Today, she is my Valentine as my family is back in Togo. We always listen to your podcast, and I am so happy to get a chance to appreciate you and my best friend, Joycelyn. This is so great, Melanie. Thank you for reaching out. It takes a lot of strength to share hardship, especially during a time when everyone around you or everything on social media is going to be how wonderful Valentine's is. It takes a lot, and it's brave of you to share your story, and it's your story of struggle during the holidays and all the way to Valentine's. That's such a difficult time to go to deal with a breakup. It's hard to deal with a breakup during festive period and through holidays where they're celebrating love and stuff like that. So thank you so much, and thank you, Joycelyn, for being supportive. Thank you for the sisterhood both of you have here. It's really admirable, and thank you for being each other's keeper, and thank you for sharing your story as well. Now the last but not least is from Bango, and Bango is from Bamenda, Cameroon, and lives in Douala. And he says, happy Valentine to my wife Suzanne. She is my best friend, mother to my 2 beautiful kids, and the best team player I have on my team. We fell in love as teenagers in high school, and despite life taking us to different parts of the world due to our pursuit of higher education, we never stopped communicating, even in our low moments. Some say long distance relationships don't survive, but we are a testament to the opposite of that. If I have another chance, it would be you, Susie. Thank you, African Teapot, for making me have an opportunity to be romantic to my dear Susie. Oh my gosh, thank you, Mbango. Thank you for sharing that. It's great when we have men who celebrate their wives. We don't see a lot of that, but I'm so thankful that we get to see this, and that you got to share this with us or through our platform. I am happy that we get to bring out the romantic side of you. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, Africans not saying, in our culture, most of us are not taught to be very expressional with our words. But here you can see we're trying. Here you can see that we're breaking the norms, and I'm happy that African Teapot is giving you that opportunity. So hopefully you and Susie get to have a blast. And it's great how long you guys have kept on with your relationship, and it's an inspiration to every other person who is looking for this kind of happiness, right? So that brings me to the end of our letters or emails. And for those of you who had a lot more to say, I appreciate it, but I'm sorry, I just had 4 spots, right? But we're gonna look a way to get that out there, maybe on social media or something. But like I said last week, we have a bonus episode just because it's Valentine's, and we chose to do that here on African Teapot. So you can go listen to that episode at the end of this episode if you want to listen to it today. It's a surprise. It's a little thing from our family to you guys, just to share for this Valentine's. But thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing your stories and messages, and thank you for just being you, being amazing, and learn to love yourself. Thank you for listening, and hope you join me for the next episode. You can always reach us via email at africanteapot@gmail.com, and follow us on Instagram at African_teapot.